Turning our attention now to New York City, where at any moment the jury will be returning from their lunch break in the Sean Diddy Combs trafficking trial. And while they're in this break, with federal court not allowing cameras, let's bring in Scripps News Group reporter Alex Miller, who is outside of that federal courthouse. Alex, you've been inside today. What are some key moments that you're seeing from those witnesses on the stand today?
Well, we already have had a few key moments this morning, including a request for a mistrial by the defense, and that is because there was some questions about the line of questioning from prosecutors who were asking the fire investigator about some DNA and fingerprint cards that were destroyed. Essentially what happened is there were these fingerprint cards that were destroyed without this fire investigator's knowledge, and the inference that was made to the jury, according to Sean Combs' team, was that he is the one who had them destroyed, and he was able to buy himself really out of anything. There was a brief recess where they asked for this mistrial. It was denied by the judge, but when they came back, the judge did tell the jury to disregard any of that testimony, and we went back and heard more from this fire investigator who said this arson could have been a lot worse. He's the one who investigated Kid Cudi's car being lit on fire. Apparently, it was the Molotov cocktail that was used was not put together properly. There was a designer handkerchief put inside of the bottle when there really should have been a cloth put inside. If it had been done properly, the fire investigator testified that not only would it have completely blown up the car, which it did not, but it likely would have spread to the foliage and eventually to Kid Cudi's home. And he testified that really could have been the reality. We also heard from an LAPD officer who said that he saw the black Escalade parked outside of Kid Cudi's home during that break-in. He did not get to see who was inside because of the tinted windows, but he did take the plate down, and when he ran that plate, it was registered to Bad Boy Records, obviously Sean Combs' label. Now, on the stand right now is Deontay Nash. He is a stylist for both Sean Combs and Cassie Ventura, worked for them for about a decade, and he testified to the things that he saw. He saw Sean Combs, he says, threatening Cassie Ventura, that he was going to beat her, threatening that he was going to release those explicit sex tapes, threatening that he was not going to release her music, and that he was going to have her parents fired. He said that this was done anytime Cassie Ventura did anything that Sean Combs did not like, that he was ready to get in her face and threaten her with those things. He also testified to being assaulted himself by Sean Combs in this 2014 party when Deontay Nash arrived with Cassie Ventura, and Combs didn't like the way Cassie Ventura's hair was done. He said he picked up Nash by his jacket and yelled at him and told him he needed to fix her hair immediately. So essentially, Deontay Nash had to go around the party and ask every single person for hairpins, take Cassie into the bathroom and put her hair up because Sean Combs didn't like the way that it was done. So these are the kinds of stories that we've been hearing all morning long, and we're likely going to hear more of as the prosecution continues their questioning with Deontay Nash this afternoon. We are also expecting to hear from former employee Mia. That is not her real name, but she was named in the indictment, and she's likely to testify to not only being overworked by Sean Combs, but also to being raped by Sean Combs.
Oh, wow. Going to that assault, but also the forced labor part of this indictment. Alex Miller, thank you for painting that picture of what's happening inside of the courtroom so vividly for us. Let's bring in our guest this hour who is standing by, joining us from East Lansing, Michigan, trial attorney Jamie White. Jamie, wow, when Alex is describing what the stylist on the stand overheard or knew about Cassie Ventura being threatened, being told by the defendant allegedly that her tapes would be released of these freak-offs, that her career would be tanked. I mean, does that go towards what the prosecution says was sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion? If she was doing these freak-offs, do those threats count as the force that's required?
You know, it's closer than what we've seen over the course of the last 11 days as far as the federal crimes are concerned. We certainly are dealing with state violations, and I think it's important for people to distinguish the two. Most of what we've heard over the last 11 days, including what we heard today, are violations of state law, some very serious violations, but that is not what he's being prosecuted with. The prosecution has been effective today and otherwise in making Mr. Combs out to be, I suppose, a bad guy and a deviant and so on. But to get to sex trafficking, it's going to require more evidence. And to date, I don't believe we've heard it. Today got a little closer, but I think in order to get there, they're going to have to show those threats were directly related to her having to participate in sex acts or freak off, so they're called.
Great analysis, Jamie. We will continue to monitor what's happening there in New York.